Welcome back to Show and Go, all thanks to Code Sports and the Daily Telegraph. We have Pam Whaley back for more. Pam, great to see you. 7 rounds in, and are you entertained? This NRLW competition is going off.
It is. It's going off. I'm entertained, Lara. Yeah. Thank you very much. What a great weekend of footy.
Yeah, it was such a good weekend.
Yeah. Lots of great games that we've been hoping to see, and I think we got some really good performances, obviously, but some good results as well. So it's like mixing things up a little bit. Love it.
Turning the ladder on its head, and we're going to talk about that shortly. But let's look at the results from round 7 and the Dragons and Titans kicked things off, and the Titans' big win put them into second on the competition table. The Eels, they got the breakthrough win over the Bulldogs. But the top of the table clash is what we were all looking forward to, and I think it lived up to expectation. The Broncos were great in the first half. The Roosters blitzed them in the second to win 34 points to 20 and to take their spot further to the outright lead in this premiership race. And then the Raiders in the night. Sunday, well, that was a thriller. I really enjoyed seeing that game, the lead changes in that game, but ultimately the Raiders came out on top, 25 points to 18. The Tigers keep on winning. Great to see them in their position at the moment. A great game against the Warriors, 30 points to 22. And the Cowboys, they keep winning. Just their second of the season, but much needed. 30 points to very disappointing Sharks. And that theme seems to be continuing for them at the moment. But let's get straight into it and to the breakdown with 4 weeks to go. Really, I think we have to state right from the top with 4 weeks to go. Neither of us expected the ladder to look the way it does.
No, I think it would be fair to say both of us probably assumed Roosters and Broncos would be top 2 at the moment. I don't think we expected the improvement of the Tigers and the Raiders as well to be coming along so well. We've talked a little bit about them, obviously, throughout this season, but both of those teams having really good wins over the weekend just keeps propelling them, further and further up that ladder. So it looks like both of them are going to play finals for the first time, which is really exciting, especially I think for the Raiders, who really obviously beat the Broncos last week, but then pushed the Roosters earlier in the competition as well. So there's plenty of exciting things to come.
I think it's so great to see the Raiders where they are. We were highly critical of them last year, rightly so, and we sort of stated before a ball had been kicked, there was pressure on Darren Borthwick, there was pressure on the club, and they've delivered. That game as well on the weekend, I think they rated it as their grittiest because they didn't just do it with ease. They had to fight and come back a number of times and show that connection that they keep talking about that they've got. And it really has been an incredible turnaround from last season to this season. And it has to be said for the Tigers as well. I mean, it'd be hard to say who's coach of the year if both of those teams make finals. Probably Craig, purely because
they were wooden spooners last year, and they were wooden spooners the year before that too. He's completely changed that. And I mean, credit has to go to more people than just him. I mean, there were people at the club who decided to overhaul that program and get him in and put some more support around that team and really go hard in recruitment and, make a good fist of it, But he's just done a phenomenal job.
Yeah. And I think as someone who's come into it not knowing the NRLW program in terms of the lay of the land, he openly admits he didn't understand that the Roosters and Broncos had such incredible teams until they started playing and he looked at them on paper and anyway, all those things, but he's got them fit, the Tigers, and we know that both of these teams happen to have recruited really well and that has made a big difference to where they are. But what does it mean for the Broncos? So they have fallen to third on the ladder. It kind of started the week before when they lost to the Raiders. So this game was going to be tough against the Roosters. So they knew they were at risk of dropping out of the top 2. And then the Titans beat the Dragons, which we expected. So they've taken second spot. So where are the Broncos at? I think you wrote a bit in your column that you think they could be in some trouble.
Yeah, well, they play the Titans this week, and the Titans are really humming along so nicely at the moment. The Broncos are going to be missing, so their best prop at the moment, I think, that's probably not fair to say. Shannon Marto's been really good too, but Brianna Clark has been killing it for them this year, and so she is facing a 2-week suspension for a high shot on Jess Surgis out of the grand final rematch, for which she was sin binned. It was not good. Yeah,
I don't think the club's particularly happy with it. I think if they
well, of course not.
I think they would have fought it if the risk of 3 games wasn't so high.
3 games, yeah. And they're already missing, so they've got Ali Brigginshaw out for another week as well. So this weekend is massive for them. Brianna has been, one of their best so far this year, and they have lost a little bit of that muscle in the middle. And the Titans are going really well. I don't know. It's going to be a tough game for the Broncos.
They didn't face a lot of adversity though last year to those key positions. Yeah. So I think it probably can't be overlooked that they didn't have their starting 9 in Jada Ferguson and also Ali Brigginshaw. They'll be back for these important games at the back end of the season. Yeah. And you can't imagine that that will make a huge difference to them.
Of course, of course. But losing 3 games in a row. So if they lose to the Titans over the weekend, that really knocks them down. So the Tigers are equal with them on the ladder at the moment on 10 points. The Raiders are on 8, so the Raiders could potentially get a win as well. It just puts them in the kind of a grey area, sitting on the fringe.
It means you have to play every game in the finals. Yeah, you don't get that week off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. With the Titans, you've already mentioned it, doing great things. Yeah. So wonderful to see them sitting in the top 2, heading into a Queensland derby, which we'll preview a little bit later. But then we've got this cluster of teams. The Raiders, and then you've got the Bulldogs, the Knights. They're around there, so they can still the Knights and the Bulldogs push in if they have a strong finish to the season. But the Bulldogs have a few pretty tough weeks coming up. Their run home is particularly difficult. Is that right?
That's right. So they play the Raiders, Tigers, Knights and Roosters to finish the season. So that's over the next 4 weeks. But also we've heard for a little while that their coach, Braden Williami, is not going to be there next year. But I think they're getting closer to making some kind of a decision on what's happening there.
Well, the Bulldogs need to make a decision, right?
Yes.
They've got a number of players off contract that need to know who the head coach will be next year.
Most of their players. I mean, I think we've spoken about it before. It might be 4 players that they've got signed beyond kind of the end of the season. It's not much.
Yeah.
So they really need to be making decisions. I mean, they were linked with Darren Borthwick at the Raiders and Ben Jeffries as well at the Knights. Ben Jeffries just signed an extension with the Knights, so he's not going anywhere. But they kind of, need to...
So I wonder who's making these decisions at the Bulldogs, because they don't have a very big football program around the women's space. Yeah. What we understand is that the recruitment is done by the same person for NRL and NRLW. So these decisions around NRLW are going to be left to Phil Gould and Adam Hardian, who are heavily involved in the NRL space. Yeah. And they're telling people within that program that the decision's going to be made in the next week. Yeah. So I guess for the girls it's most important because they're waiting to sign contracts. Yeah. And if they don't make the call sooner, the other clubs will come circling and be snatching up players.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the one thing, players want. They want certainty. They want to know what they're doing next year, the year, who's going to be the coach? What am I actually committing to? They need to make these decisions.
I think the history there needs to be also highlighted, because Braden Williami came in a week before the club played their inaugural game, because we know that things went pear-shaped and they had to sack a coach and bring in a new coach in the 11th hour. So Braden was always starting on the back foot. Yeah. And he's been there for the first 2 seasons. He had no intention of being there in that role beyond that. It was just to get the team up and running. But this next decision is huge for the club to set up where they want to go in the future, to show how committed they are to the NRLW. Yeah. When you've got other clubs putting a lot more around it now, they seem to still be on the back foot when it comes to supporting that program.
Yeah. I think hearing that they were interested in guys like Darren Borthwick and in Ben Jeffries, that gives me some hope that they are looking for kind of an experienced NRLW coach. They've just got to go out and get them now. It's kind of crunch time. And I think especially for some of those players, especially the senior players, the players that other clubs would be very interested in. You want to kind of get them locked in as soon as possible and get everyone on the same page, just to avoid some of that messiness that has been part of their history to date.
All right, I failed to touch upon the Warriors, who I think probably aren't where we thought they would be 7 rounds through the competition, and they have a couple of their biggest games. They have the 2 toughest teams still to come at the back end of the season. So they could actually be really struggling to make the finals.
They could be one of the teams they're obviously one of the teams that's on the fringe. So they're sitting 6th at the moment. And then the Knights, who else we got? The Knights and the Bulldogs are kind of sitting just below them in 7th and 8th. The Cowboys are still technically alive after their win over the weekend. But
the Warriors have the Roosters and the Broncos in there. So it's, it is tough to see anyone beating them at the moment. So whether it's a fight between the Warriors and the Knights and the Raiders. No, the Raiders should be fine. So sorry, let me get that right. Warriors, Knights and Bulldogs potentially for that top 6 spot.
Yeah.
All right. So we're very excited. Still only 4 weeks to go. And we don't know the final makeup yet of the top 6. Let's get to She Cooked, Pam. Who cooked for you on the weekend?
Abby Church, Eels fullback, New South Wales Origin fullback. I love to see her in open space. We love to see her do well. Abby's a great girl and a phenomenal player. She puts in 100% effort all the time. So she scored this amazing length of the field try against the Bulldogs in the 63rd minute of that game just to kind of seal that win. I think they were ahead by, they might have been 4 or 6 or something at the time. So it was a close game, but then that run... that run just was amazing.
The Eels, they got their first win of the season. Yeah, and probably were able to field their strongest team.
Yeah.
7 rounds in. So
absolutely.
Great to see.
So it's good to see.
Yeah, great to see for Eels fans. All right, my She Cooked. Well, it's actually just a really big hit up and it's a good excuse to show one. Ash Masters has come across this season from rugby union up to the Cowboys and she's so fearless. If you get a chance to ever meet her, like she's an absolute character of...
Well, you've had a bit to do with
I had a bit to do with her rivals.
Yeah.
And she's just hysterical and tough as they come, an absolute menace. And I think watching her off the back fence, running as hard as she could and then China Pilata just not having any care in the world of just coming at her with all of her force and she just took her off her feet, which would be really hard to do. It was a really good hit up and a great win for the Cowboys as well against the Sharks who... we're hugely disappointed in their season, but it also gives me a chance to give the Cowboys some love after what's been a tricky season for them.
It has.
So love the big hits.
No, we love the big hits. That's what we love about this game.
Keep them coming. All right, Pitt or Pam, we've got a good topic this week, and it relates to some rep football, but also a coach in the game at the moment. So we're looking at the Dragons season and wondering where it's all gone wrong. And there's a number of reasons why things probably aren't where they're meant to be. But we wanted to pose the question, should their coach Nathan Cross coach Queensland next year with the Dragons in the state that they're in?
Yeah, so it's a difficult position, isn't it, for Nathan Cross to be in. He's a great coach. He's a lovely guy. He's very popular amongst the playing group, very highly regarded. But he has a difficult job at the Dragons at the moment. They are not... They're kind of in a rebuilding phase, I would guess, but they've recruited quite well this year, but they've got a lot of young players. They're just kind of not quite where they need to be. I think he said it himself in terms of their resilience. They're trying to build that character within the team and make it into the team that they are expecting or that they want. But at the start of this year, obviously, he was away for 3 games and then all of those commitments prior around women's state of origin as the Queensland coach. I think his family's still based in Queensland as well. And he was just he was flying in and out. It's such a massive commitment, I think, and especially how women's state of origin has grown so massively over these last couple of years, right? It's the biggest event on the Women's Rugby League calendar at the moment, those 3 games. And yeah, all of the different media commitments and the training camps and things like that around it, it takes time away from that Dragons job, which is now, obviously, we're looking at it and it needs a bit, it's not where it needs to be at the moment.
So do you think you should be able to be a club coach and an Origin coach?
I don't know if there is a world in the NRLW at the moment where we could have different coaches. I think if you look at the other end of the scale, if we look at John Strange, he obviously that is working for him to be, he's in Sydney essentially. He based in the state where all of his players play, and while it is still a massive commitment for him to be able to do both jobs, he's obviously doing it very well.
He also has half his Rooster squad in the New South Wales team.
So, but that's working for him, right? So that's part of the job that is working for him. He, like, essentially at the Roosters, they get their elite players get that extra 6 weeks of preseason training, like full on, professional preseason training before they go to the back to the NRLW
which
preseason.
is a whole other argument. Really.
That's a whole other argument, but that is what the system at the moment provides for. That's the advantage that they get at the moment. That could be the same advantage for a Queensland-based coach.
Yeah, but none of the Queensland-based coaches wanted the job because they understood that it's a huge commitment and it would take time away. So Scott Prince from the Broncos, Karen Murphy from the Titans, it would be logistically a lot easier for them to take on a Queensland job, but they probably wouldn't want to because they know how much how demanding the NRLW season is, and particularly when Origin is slated right in the middle of or around pre-season for the NRLW, so it takes you away. I would argue that you can have a full-time Origin coach. We have a full-time Gillaroos coach. Yeah. And, Tani Norris was there in the Queensland role. I believe the NRLW deserves that respect where it gets its own.
But we had Tani Norris, we had Kylie Hilda. They were both kind of those full-time coaches that were not NRLW coaches. And it just didn't, not that it didn't work necessarily, but it didn't work out for either of them either. I think the advantage of having an NRLW coach in those positions is to have those connections with players that they have, contact with week in, week out. It's not ideal, but I don't know if we're at the stage where they need to be a full-time coach just yet.
Well, I know that you can do it because you can make them in development pathways. They have other jobs at QRL and New South Wales Rugby League. There's ways around it. I'm not sure that we can blame the Dragons' poor season on Nathan Cross being Queensland coach. I don't think so. I don't think we can draw that conclusion. But I think if I'm in that system and I'm playing there and I'm young and I only have 6 weeks with my head coach before a ball is kicked and he's in and out, it's not Nathan Cross not doing his job, but there may be more time together to set the foundation for the season ahead. Nathan Cross is also new to the NRLW space. This is only his second full season at the Dragons.
As a head coach, like he's been assistant, obviously, but around the game, but as a head coach,
whether or not that's something the club looks at in the off-season when they look at, well, we need to have full commitment from everyone. That remains to be seen.
I just wonder if it ended up being a bigger commitment doing both than maybe
anyone realised.
And it might be a bigger commitment than the Dragons need. They probably need someone that's...
Yeah, well, I don't think the Dragons' goals are to see how what his career, goals are. They need to do what's best for them.
Because that job at the Dragons, I think, has turned out to be way bigger than what anyone expected. I think that they probably expected a lot of improvement this year in terms of the good young players that they have there and the recruitment that they did do, and they just haven't gotten it. So it seems to be a bigger job that needs to be done at the Dragons. Obviously, they're losing Tegan Berry next year as well. So they will get Emma Veron, back in. But it's a bit of they're in a sticky spot at the moment, so they need to have a look at ways to get an edge.
All of it will be up for review, right? Like when you finish towards the bottom end of the table, and they should be looking at
their last
that's a
win
major
was in
part.
round 2.
Yeah, it's a major part what your coach is up to. how he's spreading his time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that takes us to the Aura Academy. And wow, we are seeing a leader streak away. Take us through your votes for the round.
Well, I just don't think we spoke about this off camera as well, but just Taryn Aiken, like you just can't go past her at the moment. She just, that performance against the Broncos, I think if you're able to take down the Broncos, put on 4 try assists, and I think just set up like that try that she set up for Jess Surgis was, I think I've watched that probably 15 times so far. It's just so much fun to watch. I loved it.
Yeah.
So she gets my 3 votes this week. Mackenzie Wheel at the Cowboys, she was phenomenal on Sunday night. She ran for a stack of meters. She scored 2 tries. She was really, really good. And then Sarah Togatuki at the Tigers, I've given her 1 point as well.
Go the forwards. We've got some forwards in our votes this week.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Big girls.
They do the hard work.
Yeah. Well, not a huge surprise. I've also given Taryn Aiken 3 votes this week. Did you say she had 4 try assists?
Yeah, it was 4 try assists. Yeah.
Add that to her 6 last week.
Yeah, like
amazing.
Just insane. Yeah. Like her try assist would be, I don't know, I don't have them in front of me, but she would be
she's missed a couple of games,
but everyone else.
Yeah, but she could easily take out the whole Dally M later this year. Shaylee Bent from the Tigers definitely deserves a shout out, 2 votes. What a renewed. She looks brand new.
She does.
Looks like it's been a great move for her to the Tigers. Reinvigorated her. She was very important to their win on the weekend. And I had to give Zahara Temra a point. She kicked a point and she kicked a very important field goal that took some pressure off the Raiders in their win. And I don't know that her numbers always reflect how influential she is as a calming influence. You will not meet a more chill chick than Zahara.
Truly.
When you speak to her, like nothing would ruffle her feathers. And she even said on the weekend that after that game when they were having those moments of adversity, they were calm, which like I can tell would be 100%.
I wonder what her heart rate is.
Yeah.
Like her resting heart rate would be like chill. 35.
Yeah, so relaxed. So that takes us to our leaderboard, and Taryn Aiken has stormed well clear now of everyone else. She's on 12 votes. Ray McGregor on 7. Tamika remains on 6. Jessie Southwell on 6 and Jess Surgis on 5. Jess Surgis probably could have got a point this weekend as well.
Definitely.
She's playing ridiculous footy right now. But
she's going to be up there in the Dally M votes, I think, because she's just having such a phenomenal season.
Remembering in the real Dally M votes, you get 3, 2 and 1 in every game.
In every game.
We imagine she's up there too. All right, let's get into our mailbag this week. Hello, ladies. I've read about the NRL wanting to have more events in Grand Final week. Why wouldn't they move the NRLW Grand Final to a standalone event on a Friday or Saturday and give the girls a proper platform of their own? They deserve it. Would love to hear your thoughts. Keep up the good work, Brian. And Brian is a diehard Eels fan. Yes, Brian, you got the win. Good stuff. We should make this a Pitt or Pam debate because Pam loves the grand final ahead of the men. And
why do you say it like that? Why do you say
I
it
don't
like
it.
Pam, you're
she
so
just
lame.
Is so romantic about having the women's grand final on the same day as the men. And you don't like this idea from Brian, do you?
No, I'm so sorry, Brian. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but it's a no from me. Just no. I think when you buy a ticket to the grand final, you should be able to go and watch the women's grand final, the men's grand final. It is the biggest event on, in the NRL, NRLW. It is a double header. There's an amazing crowd. The atmosphere is unbeatable. Being able to run onto the field at the grand final and there's already, 50, 60,000 people in the stands.
There isn't.
But there isn't.
They get there at half time. It's too early.
So let's say 40. Do you reckon they're going to get 40?
I reckon they're lucky if they have 20 watching the girls. It's too
do you reckon
early.
20?
And guess what? They're going to move the NRL grand final to daytime. That's the thing, right? Isn't that a new thing? They're going to bring it back to daytime grand final.
I think they've been talking about it, but I don't think...
I think it'll happen. And I think that you cannot ask the girls to play at midday or some silly hour in the heat. It's always hot on grand final day for some reason.
It actually is always hot.
But imagine, I'm going to sell it to you, Pam. Imagine NRLW grand final on a Friday night, pick the stadium. It doesn't have to be an 80,000 stadium.
Say what
more
stadium?
A boutique. Allianz, like maybe Allianz is the home of the NRLW Grand Final. Make them pay for it. Make the state government pay for it, or take it to Suncorp. Make Queensland government pay for it. Put more money into the women's game, and then they can have their own night. I mean, you saw what it did for Women's Origin when they had standalone Women's Origin for the first time at North Sydney Oval. Like, we'd 100% sell out the NRLW Grand Final if they made it standalone. And you'd have, in Grand Final week at the moment, you've got like Dally M's Wednesday. They used to have a Grand Final breakfast, which they don't really do anymore. Like, there's not, like, make Grand Final week bigger. Have more on. And then make the girls come on Grand Final day and do a sprint race on Grand Final day.
Oh, my God.
Because they're finished.
You're just working these poor girls.
Finished. Just get the really fast ones to come and do the 100-metre dash for the girls on Grand Final day. Anyway, I don't know. I just think that the girls deserve their own day to have the entertainment, make it about them. And I believe you would sell it out just for them. And at the moment, it's the curtain raiser. That's what it is.
It's not a curtain raiser. It is a double header.
No, it looks like a curtain raiser because no one's there. When I've hosted it and I've watched the crowd, it's sparse compared to...
Of course it's sparse in an 80,000 seat stadium, but it would still be... I still believe that most people get... Like, there are a lot of people there from, like, that state championship, which I actually hate. What is it called? The state championship.
Yeah, the New South Wales Cup
is.
champs v the Q Cup champs.
I hate that. I feel so sorry for them. But because they're all just like hungover. They won their grand final the week before. They just give them a break.
Yeah.
But there's always an atmosphere in that stadium. I just think grand final day has a magic about it that can't be replicated, and it is just such a special day of the year. I just think having them both there on grand final day is just the way that it should be.
Yeah, but you know what I don't like? At the end when the girls win, they do this really quick, like, let's celebrate on stage, get off, because it's the boys' turn now.
Yeah.
Like, the boys stand there, they get their moment, they get to go around and around and around, they get their rings, they stand there,
so
they
maybe
do
it's a
1,000
timing
interviews.
thing. Okay, maybe we can tinker with the run sheet for the day.
Let's be real. If they have the boys straight after or even an hour gap, they want to get the girls done and out, because it's about building up the men's pretty quickly after the girls. It is. Like, it's about quickly getting the girls out. And I don't think they get enough time to celebrate. They really don't.
You don't think they do the NRLW Grand Final day whole experience kind of like... I think it's really well done.
No, I disagree. And I reckon, Brian, you're onto something, mate. Let's start a committee. Pam's not invited. She can't come.
Tell us. Yeah. What does everyone else think? I
think that Pam lives in this romantic world, which we all love, but like it's gonna change. Eventually the girls will have their own grand final.
I think they've said pretty clearly that they want them both to conclude on grand final day. So I think moving forward,
grand final weekend.
Moving forward, that's how the season is going to be structured. I just don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, but it could be any time on that weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I win.
God,
all right.
It's such a big weekend already.
Let's have a look at... we've still got a few more rounds to a grand final. Okay. Let's just look at the round 8 radar to wrap up the pod for the week. Pam, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend? I hate your double-sided printing.
I know. I always print this double-sided. I'm so sorry. So the Titans-Broncos game, I think.
Yes.
That's on the Sunday. That's the biggest game of the round.
Brainer.
We've obviously talked about this a little bit. The Titans are sitting second. The Broncos are sitting third. It'll be a real test of where the Titans are at the moment. Obviously, they lost to the Roosters earlier in the season, but they have been kind of cruising these last couple of weeks and just looking really good, really fit, really, exciting to watch. They've got such a powerful backline and some really young, good forwards. So I think that'll be a really good test there, just to kind of measure where they are, whether or not they're real premiership chances. But obviously there's another couple of games that are going to be pretty important to that top 6 race. That Knights Tigers game on Sunday as well will be important, and obviously that Raiders Bulldogs.
Raiders, yeah. I just feel like whenever I think of Titans Broncos, I think of Lauren Brown kicking a field goal to win it. I feel like she's done that a couple of times in this fixture.
Yeah.
And there's very much this like big brother v little brother thing that we had in the men's, but in the between these Titans and Broncos. And
there's so many players who have played for both clubs. Obviously, now we've got Shannon Marto at the Broncos as well, who left the Titans. Was that last year? Was the start of last year, I think? Yeah. So, it's...
Yeah, she hasn't played against the Titans yet,
she hasn't played against the Titans
yet. So that's a big one. And Lauren Brown always seems to find her best for these games. And I don't think we've even mentioned Lauren this season, but she's been amazing.
She has been amazing.
Alongside Tegan Levi.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine Tegan loving coming up against the Broncos and giving maybe Tamika Upton some good lip, because apparently she does like that. All right, that wraps up round 7. Please make sure you email us at codenrl@news.com.au or stalk us on Insta and send Pam or I a message with any questions you have. If you believe Brian and I and should move the NRLW Grand Final to Friday night lights, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, Pam. See you next week.